Also today, earlier on, I was having a look at Twitter, and there's a nice interaction with Sam Harris. He put up this tweet. I made a video on the channel. You guys can check it out. Basically, put up this tweet trying to promote this murtad stuff, right? And then, you said to him something about how can he justify as a determinist? And then he tried to say, oh, you're confused about my position. And then you said to him, well, no, actually, your position, you refuted by Daniel Dennett, and you don't know what you're talking about. And then he just went silent. So it's very interesting how these guys, they come out with all their bravado, and then they just pretend like they never did that.
Absolutely, and they know that they don't want to get into a back and forth, especially on these issues, because it's if what I'm saying doesn't have any point, then Daniel Dennett, his arguments as well, has no point.
He has to throw his mate under the bus. So, and I think one thing which is important, I think hijab very important to highlight here, is Sam Harris is not an academic. He got his PhD, and his thesis was not that great. And just getting a PhD doesn't make you an academic. You actually need to publish papers.
On the issues that he's talking about, it's not recognized as his opinion doesn't matter. Basically, you can just put it in that language. He speaks as if his position is a position to be respected. In, for example, the philosophy of mind, or in the philosophy
he's
of
not referenced anyway.
Philosophy of science. He is not. No. He's not. His opinion is not to be respected in that sense. And would you respect, his little pamphlet book that he's written on free will?
With all due disrespect,
it's not as if there's anything there that needs real serious unpacking.
Yeah,
he's making a deterministic case. And basically, the argument we're saying is, if you are a determinist and you believe that an uninterrupted causal chain of events forces us and compels us to think and to feel and to do everything that we are thinking, feeling, and doing, then you negate the existence of free will. Therefore, you can't mention anything about morality, or that there is such a thing as moral responsibility. How can there be moral responsibility when human being has no free will? And this is the tension. This tension was found or understood by the likes of Thomas Hobbes and even J.S. Mill, the liberal philosopher. And these liberals, for that reason, maybe, perhaps, adopted a compatibilist position, which allowed for some, at least, compatibilistic understanding of free will to exist. So you can't have your cake and eat it both. You can't. And his issue was, he's talking about freedom against religious persecution.
It speaks about values.
You can't talk about freedom and be a pure, hard determinist,
which he is.
So you have freedom, and this shows me again, it's the standard they have. When they have one standard for metaphysics and abstract discussions in the academy.
That's right. Yeah.
And another standard for life.
Yeah.
And what we're saying is that, there is an inconsistency here. And he's saying there's no contradiction. You said, if you think there's a contradiction, there was a contradiction. And then I gave him a chance to clarify, and he unfortunately was impotent in so doing.
I mean, what you can get from his reply, right? And you get this very often, not only from new atheists, but any of these pathetic opponents who want to quickly try and gain back some ground. You didn't understand me, or you're confused about my position, when actually their very position is the actual thing which you put in the tweet. You actually said, well, this is your position and it's not compatible, and it's been pointed out by the likes of others as well. So it's the quickest way of winning an argument. So he said, oh, you are very confused about my argument against free will if you think there's a contradiction here, as if somebody has to put in an ounce of effort before finding out there's a everybody knows how difficult free will and deterministic thinking is, and how many of these paradoxes and contradictions actually turn up. And then what I actually found funny was once he realized, hang on, this isn't really going the way that I thought, then it's just complete dead silence. But is he really worth? I mean, is he really worth engaging with now? Because a few years ago he was popular, but now it almost feels like he's run out of steam, and he's just chugging along, and his views on his YouTube channel are not that great either. So what do you think?
I think that we actually have more to gain. We have, he has more to gain from it than we do in many ways. Like, with all due respect, he is only known in one hemisphere, which is the Western Hemisphere. Our stuff, I mean, people are surprised, but our stuff is translated into Arabic, into Malay, into different kinds of languages. We would be introducing him to hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people across the world, from different backgrounds and speak different languages, for him to communicate with us. And so, in a sense, these people that do tarafwa, or what we say in Arabic, like, the snobbery, and they feel like, everyone is lower than them. Not really, not anymore. Like, to be honest, what are you talking about? Like, oh, who are you? And it's like Gutless Murray, Douglas. Sorry, he's like, oh, you're not popular enough or something.
Well, yeah, actually, but just before that, you're unknown. Okay, so let's put it this way: when he goes and engages with, frankly, nobodies, or Ben Shapiro feels great for taking on college kids. These guys have no problem taking on unknowns. But when it's actually somebody that looks like they want to challenge their position and they have some substance, then they'll say things like, oh, you're unknown, as if, okay, you're only going to engage with people that are known? Then how do you explain the rest of your behavior?
Honestly, I don't care. Wallahi, actually, at this point in time,
especially after all that,
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care about any of the Gutless Murray or Sam Harris or Richard Dawkins. It would be great to. I think Richard Dawkins is a little bit different. If we can get through to someone like Richard Dawkins, that'll be fantastic. Sam Harris, to be honest with you, if I ask 100 Egyptians, 100 Lebanese people, 100 Syrians, 100 Saudi Arabians, who is Sam Harris, you'd be lucky if 2 of them know who he is. He is unknown in the Muslim world. If I ask 100 Malaysians, who is Sam Harris, 1 of them may know who he is.
Well, actually, the sad thing about that, and I think it's very interesting.
They act as if they're household names. No, they really are not.
They really.
If you ask anybody in the Muslim, go to the street and ask who's Gutless Murray, Douglas Murray. He's acting as if he's like he's a huge name and Oh, get out of here! Honestly, get out of here! Honestly, who are you? Like, who are you? Who are you? Like, honestly, you guys are nothing. I want you to all know you're nothing. If you want to have a conversation with us, we're more than happy to converse with anybody. We don't have this issue. We can speak to. We go to Speaker's Corner. We speak to literally someone who has no followers, 0 followers. We don't care, man. Because for us, it's not about who this person is and what clout and this and that. We'll speak to anybody, bro. If the person has a good point, they don't have to be known. There's many people out there that are not popular, that are not known, that don't have social media following and don't have popularity, but their contributions are some of the best contributions. That's not how we reject the premise in the first place. But these people are the same people that bang on about freedom of speech and all this kind of things. And they're the same people that try and either censor Muslims,
or, for example, in your case, say, oh, you're an anti-Semite. Yeah. It's like, okay, wait a minute. You just said, and this is very interesting, guys, if you go back to the tweet, he said, you're unknown. And then he says, oh, you're a anti-Semite. You're a street thug. So obviously he's taking something to misrepresent. Now, what is the intention behind that? It's to simply say, I'm not going to talk to you.
Well, it's no.
Let's be honest. They are people that he's interacted with who do not represent the Muslim community whatsoever. For example, I'm not going to give that person more credibility, but someone that supports extremist groups like ISIS, nobody takes this person seriously, and Douglas Murray would give this person serious amount of time. Why? Because he wants people to believe that this person represents Islam. When it comes to the average Muslim, then it's like, oh, you're unknown to me, and this type of thing. And you could sense the fear in the tweets. I don't know if you felt that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, man, these guys, they're not worth even. I think they're not worth this much energy. Like,